Hi everyone! Today we're back and we're talking about digestion. 3 easy, simple things that you can start to do today to improve your digestion. And the reason I think that this is so important to talk about is because a lot of times we're focusing on what we're eating and not necessarily how we are eating. Obviously, it's important to think about what you're eating, but instead of saying you are what you eat, we should really also focus on you are what you absorb. And this is because from the moment that you swallow a bite of food, the food is still considered outside of your body until it is broken down and absorbed in your small intestine. So the real question here for digestion is, are you able to absorb those nutrients that you're eating, no matter what type of food you're eating? So I'm going to give you a few things that you can consider in your next few meals and see if it improves your digestion or if you notice any big difference, because these are not necessarily life-changing things, but they are small things that over time are really important for building health. So the first thing starts before you even take a bite. And if you've ever noticed, if you look at a food or if you even think about a food, sometimes you'll notice you're salivating, which is a mechanism that your body does all the time whenever you look or smell food that all of a sudden kind of sparks that, ooh, I want to eat that feeling. And what's important here is to really support that entire process. So what I mean is taking a moment to actually look at your food, smell it, notice the colors, appreciate it, in the hopes of allowing your body the time to prepare those stomach secretions and digestive enzymes, all of the important things that do the hard work of digestion. So the name of the game here is just time, allowing your body the time to do what it needs to do. The second part is to think about your posture while you're eating, which is not the most exciting thing to think about, but when you reflect on yourself, you are probably slouched over to a degree most of the time that you eat. You might be on your phone looking down, you might be sitting down watching TV, whatever it is. Most of us are usually a little bit hunched over while we're eating. And this is physically an issue for our body because you need to allow your stomach, your esophagus, and your intestines the physical space to do their job. So one thing to do right after you smell your food, look at your food, is to sit up and just allow your body the space to do digestion. And of course, this is something you'll need to practice. It's not necessarily going to be easy over time because you'll have to kind of build those muscles to be able to do that. But at the end of the day, it's just something to think about and work on. The last thing, and perhaps the most important, is chewing your food. Of course, all of us chew our food every day, but the question is, how well are you chewing your food? And a lot of times this is really overlooked because a lot of digestive issues are because our body is a little bit overwhelmed with, number one, how fast we're eating, but number two, just the size of what we're eating. If you think about it, something that is broken down to a really small form is going to be a lot easier for your entire system to digest rather than something bigger. So one thing you can think about is how many times are you chewing, which I'm not at all expecting you to count your number of bites or chews, but just to think about, okay, did I just chew that 3 times and then swallow, or did I really let that get broken down in my mouth? And another thing you're just going to need to practice. Of course, it's not going to happen right away. But being cognizant of it is half the battle. And I think it's really interesting, the more that I've practiced doing this, the better that you feel overall, because one, you're not stuffing yourself, and two, you really just feel more energized after the meal because your body is not putting all of its energy into digesting food that was stuffed down. So I hope that you enjoyed these tips and try them out. It's never going to be perfect and you'll probably forget to do them, then remember, then forget, but it is just something to consider and it can never hurt to try. So thank you so much for listening.